Welcome viewers to Sip and Talk with Vikram. Good to see you once again in our book reviews section. Last week, we did a book review for the first time on this channel, and I hope you loved it. I would like to know how much you loved it. What were your key takeaways from that? Please post in your comments. And those who are watching for the first time, please subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon, and yes, keep posting what you think. There are many authors who have written beautiful books, and as a book lover, my favorite pastime is sit with a hot mug of coffee and a bunch of books and all by myself. There can't be anything better than reading a book. It opens up your mind and it burns away your ignorance completely. Especially when you come across lovely motivational book, self-help books, non-fictional books. Here is one author who has recently sent me a souvenir of her book. This is the book Skyrocket to New Heights by Geeta Ramachandran. So I'm going to review this book today. This is about 111 pages and it is priced at 240 rupees and it is totally worth reading this book. I'll tell you why. You see, this author of this book is an engineer by profession and she has had several decades of experience with Navratna companies like the BPCL. And post her retirement, she took to writing down her experiences and thoughts in the form of books, which can motivate and help others. Now, thank you, Geeta, for sending me a beautifully autographed book. I'm going to cherish this in my library forever. So, this book has got some uniqueness. It is laid out in 9 chapters, and at the end of each chapter, there are 4 lines in prose form. I'm going to read each one of them to you because I just love them. So, starting with the introduction to this book, which is called Skyrocket to New Heights, Master the Growth Mindset, Develop Empowering Habits, Do Differently, and Achieve Your Goals. So, as Earl Nightingale said, that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Now, what is this worthy ideal? The problem is you, and the solution is you. You have to find the solutions to your problems from within, as Swami Dayanand Saraswati said. So, coming further, I would like to bring out the first stanza of her book, which says, Let not hardships break our will. Are they not pebbles on your route uphill? Be upbeat and upgrade your skills. Breakthrough isn't far if we don't quit. Okay, that doesn't rhyme exactly, but it conveys a thought very beautifully. So, coming to chapter 1, which is on setting goals. This is the chapter 1 of this book. So, as Tony Robbins said, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. How? Because, see, when we have goals, it originates in our mind. And when we write down our goals, we put them into a black and white document. Now, when you make a black and white document, you can review it, you can revisit, you can read it, and your goals have to be smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So, if your goals are smart goals and you have drafted them carefully, now imagine you have a whole circle of a goal. In that, make some concentric circles. The outer edge is your long-term goal, what you want to be at certain point in life. Then what you want to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, next year. And for that, what you have to do today. So this is what goal setting is all about. So you set the goals because you don't want to hamper your future pursuits so that you can work on a defined path. Now, when you know what is the maximum you want to attain in life, you will know how much you have to work towards it from today. There has to be a backward calculation. Okay. So this is what is explained in this chapter. And to sum it up again, there are some beautiful lines which read as follows: to attract success like a magnet, setting goals is the very first step. Are you with me on this growth mindset? If yes, let's move forward to motivate oneself. So that brings us gradually to the second chapter, which is called motivation. So the major value in life is not what we get. The major value in life is what we become. This is what Jim Rohn said once upon a time, and this is what Gita Ramachandran has also mentioned. So you have to stay motivated at all cost. This is a significant component of our emotional intelligence. We can chart the following to stay motivated at all costs, especially in times like this when motivations are a question and morale is running low. So how do we stay motivated? Is number one, you have to set realistic goals. You see, what happens is if you set an unrealistic, unachievable goal, and if you cannot achieve it, you will be demotivated. So set up small targets, achieve them, celebrate the victory. Again, for our long term goals, that doesn't mean that you just set up a small target, achieve it today, and then you set another target for tomorrow and achieve it tomorrow. No. For your long term goals, you have to put something on the back burner to simmer slowly until you reach there. Suppose you want to reach to some place after so many years, then you know what you have to start doing from today. You may have to learn something new, you may have to acquire some new skills, you may have to understand some technology. So this is how you start preparing for a long term goal. Now, one thing that comes into way between you moving forward in a motivated manner is procrastination. Procrastination is what? You lie down on a couch, think, okay, there is time, I'll do it someday. So this is what happens in the proverbial rabbit and the tortoise story. The rabbit lies down, okay, there is enough time, we'll do it. And then he runs out of time. So procrastination is a killer of your goals and motivation. Be careful, do not procrastinate. Which is a good time to do something? The moment the thought comes to you, the moment you get inspiration that I want to do this, I want to do something, do it just right then. That is the right moment to get started with, right? Now, what happens sometimes is again, there is so much of things to do, so much quantum of job that you get overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed. Develop your confidence. Be prepared that, okay, if I'm doing something, if I'm making a startup, or if I'm going into a new job, I'm going to face some extra challenges. I'm going to face a lot of hardships. Be prepared at the outset so that you're not overwhelmed. Okay. The more confidence you develop, the less overwhelming it becomes. Again, always reward yourself for your small successes. Do not think that it's okay, somebody has to come and validate you, somebody has to come and pat your back. No. If that happens, nothing like it, very good. If it doesn't, please congratulate yourself, celebrate it in one way or the other. Whichever way you want to celebrate. Take a holiday, go out somewhere, make a video, send it to your friends that I have achieved this thing. So celebrate it. Every little success has to be celebrated so that you work towards bigger successes. Now, another thing is you have to make positive affirmations. To stay motivated, you have to make positive affirmations to yourself, which is called positive self talk, so that you can always keep engaging with your own inner subconscious mind and stay on the right track. So, achieving anything will require a lot of hard work, discipline, perseverance, commitment, and energy. But the foremost is you need that mindset. You have to be self motivated with enough mental strength to keep you fueled all the time. So, this chapter again closes with some beautiful lines. To fuel our desire, motivate self and fire. We must overrule our fear, to achieve all that is dear. Now, with that, this book moves on to the next chapter, which is about time management. So, everybody gets only these 24 hours every day in life. Now, if you are a high achiever, this time feels very short. If you are doing nothing, if you have nothing to do, this time seems like forever. But everybody is given and blessed with the same amount of resources, is 24 hours in a day. So what sets us apart from one another is how do we prioritize our life and how do we spend our time according to the priorities. So in time management, again, there is a lovely quote from Anthony Robbins. It says, once we have mastered time, we will understand how true it is that most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, underestimate what they can achieve in a decade. So again, this is talking about, setting up very exponential targets or setting up very low targets. So you have to have a balanced target. You see, we are all limited to our own resources, our own abilities, nothing else. We can enhance it. Yes, if we work towards it, we can enhance our abilities. We can learn new things. We can achieve higher tasks. So the key takeaways again is, you have to manage your time, you have to first of all plan and organize our jobs. See, if you have planned what to do and if you have organized what to do, you can definitely go a step further and beyond than anybody else who doesn't have a planned life. I'll tell you how. Like if I go shopping, simple activity which everybody does. If you go shopping, if you have a list of things that you need to buy, there are more chances that you will get everything from that list. But if you don't have a list and you go shopping, then what happens? You come back, then you realize, oh, I forgot this. Oh, I forgot that. Oh, I missed out this. So this will happen at your work also. If you don't have a to-do list, you will cross a deadline swiftly without knowing that you have crossed a deadline. You have missed a deadline. So you have to have a planned and organized way of working. Okay. Then there are how do you prioritize your work? You have to use the Pareto rule of 80-20. What is Pareto rule? That 80% of the work can be accomplished with 20% effort. Yes, if you have planned it well, then that 80% of the important work will be done with 20% of effort. And again, if you have, say, if you are aware of your own biological clock, there are times in the day when I am more alert. There are times when I'm sluggish. So when do I do the thinking part, the planning part, the important brain work is of course when my mind is most alert. And the rest of the time you can do things which are just less mind absorbing. So this is how you can use the prioritization of work. Then what happens is you need focus to do your work. And you can use a scheduled break by using the Pomodoro technique. Now, what is Pomodoro technique is you set up a time alarm system, maybe on your laptop or on your phone, in any other way. 25 minutes of continuous work, then 5 minutes of break. Now, break means you get up from your seat, take a walk, do something else, refresh, come back, and focus on your work. It works. It works for everybody, for students, for professionals, for people working in organizations. Again, you have to schedule a flexible time for for the routine work and the minor tasks and all sort of interruptions. Suppose you need to make follow-up calls, you need to answer emails. Now these are the things where you don't apply too much of focused mind. You can schedule a time for that. Okay, this is the time slot where I'm going to do these. Okay, so this way, what happens is nothing pops up as urgent. Then you have to practice the art of delegation. What happens is many executives cannot delegate. They feel the bomb will explode once they leave it out of their hand. You have to trust your team. You have to build a team which is capable of your trust. You have to delegate and monitor, not delegate and forget. You have to delegate and monitor so that a chunk of the repetitive work gets done without your involvement. Again, please do not be a perfectionist. Nobody is perfect in this imperfect world. Even the five fingers of our hand are not the same. They are different. They are different abilities. They have different strengths. So please do not expect perfection into everything. Yeah. And the procrastination has to be conquered first. Once you are into your zone, you can work better. But then for coming into the zone, you have to conquer procrastination. Also, you have to learn to say no. What happens is there are so many requests, there are so many interruptions, so many things that come in your way. And if you keep obliging people, there will be no time left for you to do your own work. Okay. Now, what happens is sometimes in an organization, there is a meeting for everything. So many committees, so many social committees, so many interactions, and you are invited in one meeting after the other. And a lot of time goes into those meetings and conversations which are not directly related to your work. So please prioritize what are the meetings you really need to be a part of. Now, another distraction is social media. Unfortunately or fortunately, technology has evolved to that extent wherein you can get updates on social media in nanoseconds. You have to shut down all those feeds and updates that pop up with a bell, with an alarm. Keep them silent, keep them away. Have a time slot when you want to look into those messages and respond if you really need to. Otherwise, they are no good to you. So you have to have a lot of focus in your work. You have to prioritize. You have to use certain proven techniques to manage your time. And then at the end of this third chapter, there are again those beautiful four lines: plan, prioritize, set a deadline, execute effectively to beat the time. At the end of the day, seconds add to time is lost forever if not leveraged in time. Okay, that makes sense because you know what happens? You have to have some personal effectiveness, and that is what the fourth chapter is about. Fourth chapter is about personal effectiveness. So Stephen Covey said many people seem to think that success in one area can compensate for failure in other areas, but can it really? True effectiveness requires balance. Now, what are the areas in your life? There is your job, there is your health, your family, your relationships, your inner self. Now, if you compensate on one thing and if you neglect the other thing, it does not give you the complete fulfillment and happiness in life. You may excel in your job at the cost of your relationship, but does it make you happy? Or if you focus too much on your relationship and let your job go awry, even that is not desirable. So what you need to do is you have to change your habits and your methods of influence. You have to develop small personal missions based on the principles, goals aimed at results and not just activities. So you have to develop some effective habits. You have to be proactive by thinking and acting ahead of anticipated events. Your intuition will be developed with your experience. You should anticipate events and be prepared in advance. It is Not that certain things happen and then you start reaction. You have to be proactively involved in your thinking to anticipate future events. Again, you have to practice the habit of begin with the end in mind. So you have to create a vision, and you should know what is the end goal of your vision. According to that, your actions have to be channelized. You have to, again, yes, prioritize in order to manage your life effectively. What if you are just working up too late and waking up late and then rushing to work, and in between there is no time for yourself or for your health, no yoga, no morning walk, no exercise. You may sustain for a couple of years, and then finally you will one day collapse with some illness or the other. So it is important that you have a holistic approach towards life. Of course, to be productive and to be effective, you have to be aware of yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you are good at, what you need to work upon. Okay, and you have to accept some feedback from your peers, so that they can tell you where are the blind spots, things that we are not able to see but others can. So you have to develop these self visualization techniques. You have to have a positive affirmation about yourself, and you have to be perceptive to the verbal and non-verbal cues. People around you may not say in as many words, but there are non-verbal cues which gives you certain hints. And how we conclude this chapter again is to be successful and personally effective, be proactive, productive, perceptive, and receptive. Another change of habit is mastered in this way. So let me take a sip of coffee and move on to the rest of the book. Now, coming to chapter 5, which is on self discipline. So, disciplining yourself to do what you know is right and important, although difficult, is the highest road to pride, self esteem, and personal satisfaction. This is what Brian Tracy said. So, how do you develop this self discipline? The ability to discipline yourself to delay gratification in short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term is an indispensable prerequisite for success. That's what Maxwell Maltz said. So, how do you start self discipline? You have to follow these guidelines, which are mentioned in this book. So, you have to start with ourselves, start early and now. Don't procrastinate, start now. Organize your life, welcome responsibility. Always be receptive to taking up responsibilities. Don't shirk responsibilities. You have to accept accountability. Don't say that, okay, I am authorized for this, but I am not responsible. No, don't do that. Become a character driven instead of emotional driven. Because if you are emotion driven, you'll be just swept away in emotions. Develop integrity. You have to be honest when nobody is watching you. So develop integrity. Pay now, play later. You have to work hard now and take the leisure as a reward after that. Not that you first spend all the time in leisure and then run after completion of your work. And of course, there is no gain without pain. So nobody can take a shortcut to hard work, yes, but combined with smart work. So you have to develop a lot of willpower. You have to develop the discipline of clear thinking, daily goal setting, daily time management, and you have to encourage excellent health habits. Then you have to also do hard work, continuous learning, and persistence. So overall, you have to develop a positive attitude. And again, those beautiful lines to conclude this chapter: do what you should do and not what you love doing. Do what you should do and not what you love doing. Disciplining to delay instant gratification will lead to glorious future and recognition. So this is how the book progresses beautifully. And now it brings me to the next chapter, which is called Positive Attitude. So as Earl Nightingale said, our attitude towards life determines life's attitude towards us. So what happens? Great people often have a great attitude and great energy. If you see all the great people, They are they seem to be having no dearth of time. They seem to be very standing tall and strong all the time. So they are positive. They are not cynical. They dwell on the good and not on the bad. They are upbeat and encouraging and can adapt quickly. Their enthusiasm will be infectious. When we read the stories of great successful people, we realize that all of them had that positive attitude and they thought and did things differently. We cannot achieve results after taking actions. Despite having the right resources, competencies, and skills, it's worth reviewing our attitude and doing things differently. We don't do different things, we do things differently. We can imbibe positive attitude in us by doing these following things as they are prescribed in this book. Review your thoughts and behavior and identify the problematic ones to correct. So, first thing is you should know what is falling short. Then reframe and think differently to rectify our attitude. Resolve strongly to think differently and act differently and make positive changes to imbibe a positive attitude. Repeat the habit of thinking and acting positively at all instances. Renew and replace negativity with positive ones constantly, as positive attitude is not a destination but a way of life. Remember that we are all responsible for our attitudes and the resulting behaviors, actions, results, and success. Positive affirmation can lead to positive results, and positive attitude results into success. So, again, to conclude this chapter, let me read those four lines again. Life is full of challenges and hindrances. For pessimists, it's difficulties and burdens. For optimists, it's opportunities in disguise. Attitude makes us see it otherwise. So, after you have changed your attitude, we come to chapter 7, which is about self awareness. So, Billie Jean King, he said, I think self awareness is probably the most important things towards being a champion. So, self awareness will make us aware of the areas which need improvement. Growth in self awareness applies to all those who know that they can get more out of life and believe that self improvement is not only possible, but it is absolutely crucial too. By developing a level of self awareness, we will be able to get what we really want out of our life and career, and more out of the people who we work with, like our clients, our boss, peers, suppliers, staff, family, and plenty more of people. And then we can improve our own performance. We are able to take a cue from the feedback we receive from the people around us and decide to change our inner self. The easiest thing you can change in this world is your inner self. You cannot change the external world at all. So we are on the road to leading towards a better and improved self. As we conclude this chapter, here are the beautiful lines. Explore ourself and be self-aware. Ignoring feedbacks, please beware. All our smartness will be of no use if emotions are misaligned to values. I hope you are loving it till now. And moving ahead with this, we come to chapter number 8, which is about self development. So, as Henry Adams said, they know enough who knows how to learn. So, self development is about, learning is a lifelong process, which is not just by acquiring knowledge or skills, but about putting these into practice. As Robin Sharma said, investing in ourselves is the best investment we will ever make. It will not only improve our life, it will improve the lives of all those around you. Of course, it does. If you improve yourself, it improves the life of not only yourself, but all those around you. So, how do we develop it? We have to firstly develop our own knowledge and skills. The technology is running fast, it is moving like anything. And unless we are in line with it, unless we ride the wave, we will be left behind at some point of time. Again, you have to have competencies in cognitive skills, intrapersonal skills, and interpersonal skills. Again, you need to have your own motivational drivers. So the three domains of capability to be developed in an individual are: one, knowledge and skills. This is to understand what a person needs to do. The second thing is competencies. You have to understand how a person needs to do it. The cognitive skills, the emotional intelligence, the skills comprising of both intrapersonal and interpersonal skills. And then, of course, the motivational drivers to understand why a person will do it. So, using self evaluation and technique of self awareness, including feedback, understand our strengths and weaknesses, reinforce our strengths and curb our weaknesses, review periodically, find the gaps, and take steps to learn and develop. Renew as people who renew as people who got busy producing or delivering rarely get time to renew themselves. Find time to reflect upon, to learn, to develop ourselves, to become a better version of ourselves. So this eighth chapter again concludes with these lines. My growth to success or plunge to failure is in my hands, to be chased or put off for later. Developing self is the selected way forward to quench my thirst for knowledge and reward. So this is what the book goes on and brings to the final chapter, the ninth chapter, which is a sort of conclusive verdict of what we have learned throughout the book. And this chapter is called commitment. Of course, nothing can be achieved in life without ample commitment. Again, Vincent Lombardi said, the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. So whatever is your role, whatever is your profession, whatever is your personality in this world, you have to have the commitment to fulfill your role and justify your existence. So what goes into this? Firstly, make a commitment to make things happen and keep that commitment going on. Once you have committed to yourself, this is a promise to yourself. Keep it up. Then you have to imbibe the qualities of a committed person. You have to see, you have to make role models, you have to set examples for yourself that look at that person, how he is committed towards his work or she is committed towards her work. I must imbibe those qualities. Read about them, learn about them, know how they are committed to their own self. And this is how you will be able to develop certain habits to stay motivated, to stay committed. Then passion, persistence, perseverance, perspiration, and providence will enable us to meet our commitment. So once we make a commitment, we have to stay committed. So this is the book which has been presented. It's a very short book looking at it, but this is a treasure of advice, treasure of good things. Now I'll come to tell you what is my take on this book. See, there are so many self-help books and there are so many books on each of the topics of these chapters. Okay, now if you can find books on motivation, you can find books on time management. So I think that this book, is a beginner and a primer for anybody who wants to actually start thinking about developing self, because you skyrocket to new heights only when you have developed yourself. There is nothing else in life which you can turn into a dependable tool to make the way for you to achieve new heights. So this book has got everything in it. It has got all the major aspects to be covered to inspire you enough. Of course, after reading this book, you can go on to look for more in-depth knowledge about each of the points that are mentioned herein. Here, everything is there in short notes, bullet points, just to give you a very quick read and set you to start thinking. So I strongly recommend you to just go and grab a copy of this book as soon as you can and read it up from page 1 till the end. And I'm sure you won't regret my recommendation for this book. On that note, I would like to hear from you viewers. What did you feel about, what did you think about this episode of Book Review? Please do type in your comments and do not forget to send me your book for a review. I will read and review your book right here, like I did this one. And thank you for patiently listening to me with a hot sip of coffee. See you again soon with a new book, with a new review. Thank you.